What you're about to hear is too buried for comfort. Let's get into it. Number 10. Easter Island, Pacific Ocean. The Easter Island heads aren't heads. Every kid on this planet knows that image, those massive stone faces staring out across the Pacific, silent and permanent. But in 2010, someone finally took a shovel to the ground beneath one of them, and what they uncovered had been buried for 7 centuries. Beneath the volcanic soil, complete bodies, shoulders, torsos, arms folded across the stomach, and carved across every single back. Symbols that no scientist on Earth has ever been able to read. The Rapa Nui people always knew the full truth. They looked at full figures of their ancestors for 7 centuries. Then Europeans arrived, looked at the same island, and announced to the world, "Those are stone heads." For 400 years, that became the official story. If the most recognized monument in the world turned out to be 10 times bigger than anyone believed, how many other places are hiding their real selves just beneath the surface? One of them is in your own backyard, and most Americans have never heard of it. And the last one has a sealed room inside it that no one on Earth has permission to open. Stay with me. Number 9. Derinkuyu, Turkey. In 1963, a man in Cappadocia knocked through a wall during basement renovations and found a dark corridor disappearing into the earth. Archaeologists arrived days later. They had found an entire underground city, 18 levels deep, 280 feet straight down. Capacity: 20,000 people, their livestock, their food supply, their children. The ventilation shafts were engineered so precisely that from the surface they were invisible. When an enemy army approached, the entire population simply vanished underground. Invaders walked across empty hills, while beneath their boots a city breathed quietly in the dark. Around 200 similar cities have since been found in that region, every one by accident. No one knows how many more are still waiting. Number 8. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. For generations, farmers near Şanlıurfa in southeastern Turkey plowed the same hill. Their equipment kept snagging on strange stones. They complained, they ignored it, they moved on. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt heard about those stones. What he excavated over the next 20 years destroyed everything we thought we knew about human civilization. Buried under that hill, massive stone halls, T-shaped pillars 5 meters tall, carved with lions, snakes, scorpions, birds. Age: 11,500 years. Built 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 before the first Egyptian pyramid. The people who built it had no agriculture, no pottery, no settlements. They were hunter-gatherers. Every textbook says civilization began with farming, crops first, then villages, then temples. Göbekli Tepe proves the opposite. Someone built a cathedral first, and civilization followed. If an entire temple complex can vanish under a hill for 11,000 years, what else did the ancient world simply lose track of? Number 7. Thonis Heraklion, Egypt. 6 miles off the coast of Egypt, under 30 feet of Mediterranean water, lies a city historians once thought was pure legend. Thonis Heraklion was the greatest port in the ancient world. Every ship entering Egypt from Greece passed through it. The Temple of Amun stood at its heart, where pharaohs came to be crowned by the gods. Then the Nile Delta shifted, earthquakes struck, the ground liquefied, and the city slipped silently into the sea. So completely that within a generation, scholars began to wonder if it had ever existed. In 2000, French underwater archaeologist Franck Godillot found it exactly where the ancient texts had placed it. Colossal statues still upright on the sea floor, 700 ancient anchors, gold jewelry sealed in silt for 12 centuries. The real Atlantis isn't mythology. It's sitting 30 feet underwater, and it's Egyptian. And we're not at the strangest one yet. Coming up, a place in the American desert built by people who vanished without explanation, hiding in plain sight for 1,000 years. Number 6. The Atlantic Wall, Europe. You have a favorite beach. Picture it. Warm sand, the sound of waves, a perfect, ordinary afternoon. Now picture what's directly under that sand. By Hitler's personal order, a 3,000-mile chain of concrete fortifications was built along the western coast of Europe, Norway to southern France. 870 bunkers connected by tunnels and underground command centers, the Atlantic Wall. After the war, most of it was simply buried, sand pushed over the concrete, grass planted on top, children building sandcastles above the rooftops of an underground war city. In 2008, one of the largest bunkers was excavated near Noordwijk in the Netherlands. 3 floors, 10 sealed rooms, 7,500 cubic meters of solid concrete, and everything exactly as the soldiers left it. Over 400 bunkers remain sealed under European beaches. Right now, someone is sunbathing directly above a corridor where soldiers once moved in total darkness. History doesn't disappear, it just sinks a little deeper. Number 5. The Paris Catacombs, France. Beneath the streets of Paris, under the cafes, the bookstores, the flower markets, runs a 186-mile labyrinth lined with the bones of 6 million people. Every year, 550,000 tourists visit the official section. Most of the labyrinth belongs to the cataphiles, people who disappear into the illegal tunnels with flashlights and no explanations. In 2004, police discovered something deep in the restricted passages, a fully equipped underground cinema. A screen, rows of seats, a bar, a kitchen, power wired in from a hidden cable, a complete film library. When officers returned 3 days later, everything was gone. Only a handwritten note remained on the bare stone floor. It read, "Do not look for us. 6 million dead below, the living city above, and somewhere in between, someone was watching movies between 2 worlds." Number 4. Teotihuacan, Mexico. Millions climb the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan every year. They stand at the top and feel the weight of a civilization with no name, because no one knows who built it or where they went. In 2003, a rainstorm opened a sinkhole at the base of the pyramid. Mexican archaeologist Sergio Gomez lowered a camera into the dark and found a tunnel running 330 feet directly beneath the pyramid to a sealed chamber. Inside, offerings of jade and shells, and pools of liquid mercury large enough to create a miniature reflective sea in the underground darkness. Mercury, beneath a pyramid, left by people with no name. The most visited pyramid in the Americas carried this secret for 2,000 years, and we only found it because it rained. 2 more, and the last one will make you question everything you thought you knew about the most famous building on Earth. Number 3. Chaco Canyon, New Mexico. In the high desert of New Mexico, in your own country, there is a place that doesn't behave like anything else on Earth. Between 850 and 1150 AD, the ancestral Puebloan people built great houses 5 stories tall at Chaco Canyon with 800 rooms. They hauled 220,000 timber beams from forests 50 to 70 miles away, on foot, with no wheels, no animals. American archaeoastronomer Anna Sofer spent 2 decades mapping the site from the air and discovered that every major building is aligned to the 18.6-year lunar cycle. The entire canyon is a calendar readable only from above, and beneath the great ceremonial kiva of Casa Rinconada runs a 39-foot underground passageway, so that during rituals, priests could appear to rise directly out of the earth itself. Around 1150 AD, the people sealed their doors and vanished. No explanation, no signs of war or drought, just gone. Their descendants, the Zuni, the Hopi, the Acoma, still make pilgrimages here. They never stopped remembering. It's been sitting in your backyard for 1,000 years. Most Americans have never heard its name. Number 2. Nan Madol, Pacific Ocean. Off the island of Pohnpei in Micronesia, there is a city built on water, or more precisely, a city that has slowly sunk into it. Nan Madol, 92 artificial islands built from basalt columns, some weighing 50 tons each. No matching quarries exist on Pohnpei. The stone came from the far side of the island, transported across open ocean by a culture with no cranes, no pulleys, no machinery of any kind. Today, most of Nan Madol sits beneath the lagoon surface, sinking further every decade. UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site in 2016 and endangered the same day. The deeper underwater chambers have never been fully mapped. One diver who reached them in the 1990s described an overpowering sense of presence in the dark and refused to go back. Whatever is down there has been waiting, undisturbed, since roughly 200 AD. Last one, and this one will follow you home. Number 1. The Great Pyramid, Giza. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, 4,500 years old, measured, mapped, photographed from space, visited by 40 million people every year. In 2017, an international team of physicists applied muon tomography, the same technology used to detect hidden nuclear materials, to stone that had been stared at for 45 centuries. They found a void, a hidden cavity directly above the Grand Gallery, at least 100 feet long, longer than a commercial passenger jet, sealed inside the most scrutinized monument on Earth. The Egyptian authorities have not permitted anyone inside. Whatever Khufu placed in that chamber remains exactly where he left it. We found this room 7 years ago. Not in antiquity, 7 years ago, with instruments that didn't exist a decade before that. And the question that follows you home is a quiet one. If the Great Pyramid still has rooms no one has ever entered, what do we actually know for certain? Stone heads that aren't heads, 20,000 people breathing in the dark beneath enemy feet, a temple older than farming, the real Atlantis, Egyptian and submerged, a war city sealed under a sunlit beach, a cinema between 6 million bones, a mercury sea under a nameless pyramid, a canyon in your own country built as a message to the sky, a Pacific city sinking into a lagoon almost no one knows exists, and a room inside the Great Pyramid, sealed for 4,500 years, that no one has ever opened. Every one of these places had a surface, a face it showed the world, and something else entirely just below. The surface is always the thinnest part of the world. We'll keep going underground.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.